A lot of stuff happening in the Bitcoin chart space. Some very interesting things on the daily, on the monthly, some great on-chain charts I want to share with you here as well, because we're seeing a lot of big stuff happening in the market with all the Bitcoin ETF news and all the excitement that's starting to be generated in the market around what we're seeing here, right? It's very exciting to see this. So now let's dive in here and start taking a look at a few things. So one thing I want to start off with is actually the Litecoin halving. I know, Litecoin, I know, but it's only 27 days until the Litecoin halving. There's been a lot of play around this narrative starting to build up. And there's been, of course, a lot of price action moving on it. You see the EDX exchange, which is backed by Charles Schwab and other big players, as the institutional exchange where you can go and trade your crypto, right? Well, they're listing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, which has provided enough gas in the tank to get people a bit excited about Litecoin once again. They're also hanging on to that Litecoin halving narrative. Now, here's what happened during the last two Litecoin halvings. This is the first halving. This is the second halving. In both of these situations, we saw the price of Litecoin actually peak about 3 to 6 weeks before the actual halving happened. Right. So we saw this run up. We saw the momentum build up, the excitement build up. Litecoin halving is coming. And then we, of course, saw that inevitable price decline actually leading into the halving. This will be the third halving. But look at 2019. 2019, we saw Litecoin peak at $142 in June. 6 weeks later, at the day of the halving, the price was $92. So I'll be curious to see if that plays out or not. Again, in this situation where we see Litecoin actually kind of basically in this scenario, we'd see Litecoin potentially dumping into the halving, or will traders keep the narrative rolling until much closer to the halving date? And if so, of course, we probably will see a sell the news event, because halvings themselves are fundamentally bullish, but they don't create immediate bullish scenarios. It takes time for those things to play out. Let's take a look here at the Bitcoin chart. So this is on the daily. On the daily, we're seeing some interesting things happening. A bit of a cooling down, if you will, after that big move up in the previous weeks on all the excitement around the ETF news. Currently seeing the price cooling off just a little bit, still trading above the 50-day EMA, which is the yellow line on the chart here. However, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that we are seeing a daily MACD bear cross forming up right here, where essentially that could indicate a bit of a further cooling off of prices. And it's happening in the area where generally, if you see it so high up, you're likely to see a bit of a price correction coming in. The stochastic also indicating that. Now, to be clear, we could easily see any kind of bullish narratives popping their heads up and pumping the price very, very quickly, right? The market's a bit of a powder keg right now, if you will. And any of this ETF news can easily either spook markets, as we saw when the SEC came out the other day and said, well, your filings are inadequate. And the market kind of panicked a little bit until people actually realized, well, they didn't say they're denying them. They just said it's inadequate and please change the wording in your applications, which is what everybody immediately did. And now everything seems to be okay again. Now, if the SEC was just surprise us and come out very, very soon and say, hey, Bitcoin ETF approved, here's a listing date, that would make markets go absolutely crazy. But you can only keep the momentum going for so long around the hype of the Bitcoin ETF narrative without a Bitcoin ETF actually being approved, right? So that is something to keep in mind here. But let's have a look at the monthly charts. Let's have a look at the monthly charts here, because something interesting is happening here on monthly charts that I want to point out for you. And that is particularly taking a look here at the MACD. So you can see here the 50-month EMA. Last month we came right down, had a nice little retest of that, which I like to see without a doubt. So we had the initial breakout here back in March, a retest in June, currently, of course, trading above that. Interestingly, though, we have got now our MACD monthly cross for Bitcoin. Now, this historically has been a pretty powerful indicator to say that the bear market's over, that a new cycle is beginning, and that things are about to get exciting again. It's not immediate. We're talking about monthly charts here, right? So monthly price action takes some time to play out, right? So just because we're getting that MACD cross now, that impact of starting a new bull run, that doesn't mean immediate price insanity. It means a new direction is being formed. And of course, this MACD indicator, it's kind of following behind what we've already seen happening in other indicators we've talked about here on the channel for some months now. Of course, we see the histogram has been trending upwards for a while. We finally got our green bar here. So that's all very, very nice to see, and I'm excited about it. Now, before we get into some of the on-chain charts here, if you are a trader, you need yourself an account over on BYBIT. It is the best place for trading crypto. You can get up to $30,000 in sign-up and deposit bonuses by using that link down below in the description. You can trade futures, spot altcoins, hop onto the popular copy trading service, and more. Check it out using the first link in the description. Now, this is a very interesting one that I found right here. This is from Cryptocon, and this is the Bitcoin Pi Cycle Top indicator. As he says, it created the biggest bearish fake out of the yellow 111-day MA ever, right down here. So big fake out. But now it's fully recovered, and an ambitious target looms, $45,234. The green 350-day MA2 has been achieved for every mid, top, in every cycle. So you can see right back here, look. Right back in 2016, hit our mid top. Back in 2012, hit our mid top. Back in 2019 as well. So if history rhymes, we all know history doesn't repeat, right? But if history does rhyme, then we could see Bitcoin rallying as high as $45,234 in 2023. My number's been 48,000. I think we overshoot that just a little bit and potentially get 48,000 perhaps in the next few months. So definitely something to watch out for. These indicators, so many of them keep showing similar things. Maybe they're all wrong, but maybe there is something to pay attention to here, which is what I've been doing, paying attention to these different indicators and what they are telling us here in the market. And of course, when that happens, when we do get these price targets hit, I just want to share this story with you here, because this is from the NFT Insanity, right? So this is from this guy. Hey, everyone, finally ran out of capital to pay down my loans and got liquidated last night on my remaining 3 apes. Been an insane ride from $20 million to negative $2 million. Good luck to all. I'm not going to make it, but I sincerely hope that you all do. Holy cow. Greed really screws us up when the bull market gets going, and so many people will fumble it. You're here now, and if you're here now, I want you to listen to this, because the only people who are going to get rich in the next cycle are the people who sell. It's that simple. Now, look, you can have different strategies and say, hey, look, I'm going to hold my Bitcoin for 10 years. Okay, it's different, right? But if you are in speculative stuff here, if you're in NFTs, if you're in a lot of these altcoins, remember, the vast majority of these altcoins are going to fail and go to zero. You got to click the sell button. I've just seen so many stories like this where somebody they're up millions, literally life-changing money, and they fumbled. This guy had 20 million bucks. 20 million bucks, man. Gone. It's absolute insanity. We saw a lot of these stories back at the height of NFT mania. People would get just absurd offers for their crypto punks or whatever. Some guy had like a $10 million offer. He turned it down. That same crypto punk's worth like, I don't know, $100,000, maybe $50,000 or $80,000. I haven't looked at the floor price of crypto punks in a while, but I let you know this because more bullish conditions will return to the markets at some point. And so it is beholden upon you, the person listening to this stream today, to remember, don't cheat yourself out of a fortune. At some point, you will need to sell something, right? Something. It's worth keeping in mind there. Remember, no one ever went broke taking profits. Now let's move on to this next chart here, because I like this. This is from Glassnode. They say, following the ascension in spot price with the psychologically key 30K level, Bitcoin miners have continued to send large clips of BTC to exchanges. Selling the Bitcoin, man. Currently, miners are sending $105 million to exchanges. Second largest USD denominated transfer on freaking record. The last time Bitcoin miners were dumping this much Bitcoin back in early 2021. Yo, that is pretty damn crazy. I mean, the Bitcoin miners have been sitting on their stacks for a while, and the prices are finally getting a little bit bullish, and they are just hardcore dumping Bitcoin right now. Now, this is very interesting because this rally has been, to an extent, dampened by that massive selling from Bitcoin miners. That means that when we see the miners slow their selling down significantly, if we can keep the hype and the narrative and the consistent buying happening from across the market, which we're seeing a lot of buying happening across the market, it creates a lot less friction for prices to move higher because the Bitcoin miners are essentially shooting their load right now. And when prices go higher, they're not going to have that much ammunition left to suppress the prices in the market. So that's a pretty interesting thing I want to point out there for you. Currently, that's about 6% per day that the miners are selling. So once those miners are done selling, watch out for the bumpity pumps to potentially come on in. Also, I got this one here I want to share with you too from Carl Menger. Now, he's sharing a glass node chart here. And this is monthly absorption rates of Bitcoin from shrimp to fish. From shrimp to fish. Now, these are small accounts, right? They're small accounts. These are people who have, a few hundred or a few $1,000s worth of Bitcoin. Now, what's interesting is that they're absorbing the equivalent of 254% of the mined Bitcoin supply over the past month, or about 2,286 Bitcoin per day. There's only 900 Bitcoin per day being mined on average. So that means that the smallest accounts are buying more Bitcoin than the Bitcoin miners can produce. So even though the Bitcoin miners just blasted out over $100 million of Bitcoin into this pump, we are seeing a situation where it's just not really mattering that much, right? The sellers are out, the forced sellers are out, a lot of liquidations are out, and we see this just fanatical buying by small accounts, mid-sized accounts, big accounts, everyone getting excited, everyone trying to front run BlackRock and Fidelity and Invesco and all these other big players. Everybody sees what's going on. Everybody wants to participate in this. Everybody understands, right? More and more people are waking up to the realities of fiat currency and the realities of what Bitcoin is and how scarce it is, and the fact that if they don't stack now, it's going to be a heck of a lot harder to stack later. Bitcoin is still on sale. Bitcoin is still under 50% from its all-time high price. Still a pretty attractive buy, in my opinion, which is why, again, I have been stacking up Bitcoin on a regular basis.